To know how CBD helps with stress and depression, we must first understand what stress and depression truly are. Stress is both a physiological and biological response to a situation that a person feels that they do not have the resources to handle. A few examples of such stressors are moving, loss of a house, loss of a loved one, divorce, financial responsibilities, being crowded or confined, and exams. When encountering stressors, the body will decide if it is a stressful situation based on sensory input and processing and stored memories. If the situation is judged to be stressful, the hypothalamus will be activated. The hypothalamus is a region of the forebrain below the thalamus that coordinates both the autonomic nervous system and the activity of the pituitary. This controls body temperature, thirst, hunger, and other homeostatic systems, and is involved in sleep and emotional activities such as stress. When a stressor is presented, the hypothalamus sends a signal to the adrenal medulla and the pituitary gland. Short-term responses are recognized commonly as fight or flight and is produced via the sympathomedullary pathway. Long-term responses are regulated by the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal system. The adrenal medulla is part of the autonomic nervous system, which is part of the peripheral nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is in control of homeostasis, or balance, and its activities are performed without conscious control. Once signaled, the adrenal medulla secretes the hormone adrenaline. This is when the body begins to show signs of the fight or flight response. These changes in the body include increased heart rate, decrease in digestion, sweating, and increased blood pressure. Once the stressor is no longer present or is contained, the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as the rest and digest system, takes over and brings your body back to homeostasis. Once signaled, the pituitary gland secretes adrenocorticotropic hormone. This, in turn, stimulates the adrenal gland to produce the corticosteroid hormone. The cortisol allows the body to maintain a continuous supply of blood sugar, which helps the body in times of prolonged stress and helps the body return to normal. During this period, the cortisol hormone will release stored glucose from the liver to help produce energy and helps control swelling after an injury has occurred. Along with the release of glucose, the immune system is also suppressed during this stage. While stress isn't always welcomed, it is a necessary component in human survival, as it helps us cope with the threats to our safety and welfare or those of our loved ones. The problem isn't that stress exists, but that when the stress can no longer be manageable. Stress-related disorders affects up to 80 million adults in the United States, which makes up about 18% of the population. Some examples of stress-related disorders are anxiety, panic disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, social phobia, post-traumatic stress disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and mild to moderate depression. Unmanageable stress can lead to or exacerbate headaches, high blood pressure, insomnia, heart problems, asthma, diabetes, skin conditions, weakened immune system, and depression. Depression is a medical condition that affects the way you think, feel, and act in a negative way. The symptoms of depression can waver in intensity and can include feeling sad, loss of interest or pleasure in activities at one time enjoyed, changes in appetite, trouble sleeping or sleeping too much, lethargy, increase in purposeless physical activity such as pacing back and forth, observed slow movement and speech, feeling worthless or guilty, difficulty thinking, concentrating, or making decisions, and thoughts of death or suicide. Depression can be caused by multiple factors, such as changes in certain chemicals in the brain, genetics, personality factors such as those with low self-esteem who are easily overwhelmed by stress or who are generally pessimistic, and environmental factors such as continuous exposure to violence, neglect, abuse, or poverty. On a biological level, depression can be linked to three neurotransmitters: serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. Serotonin is involved in controlling many important bodily functions, including sleep, aggression, eating, sexual behavior, and mood. Current research suggests that a reduction in the production of serotonin can cause depression in some people and cause suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts. Norepinephrine assists the body to recognize and respond to stressful situations. Researchers suggest that people who are susceptible to depression may have a norepinephrine system that fails to handle the effects of stress at an efficient level. Dopamine contributes to controlling our drive to seek out reward, as well as our ability to attain a sense of pleasure. Low dopamine levels may explain why people with depression fail to get the same sense of pleasure out of people or activities that they once did prior to becoming depressed. Cannabinoid receptors are present within the locations of the brain known to control behavior, including the hypothalamus. Since the endocannabinoid system, which is linked to homeostatic balance, can be found throughout the body and is made up of receptors that the CBD can bind to and trigger certain responses, it is easy to see the role that CBD could play in reducing fear, stress, and anxiety. Many studies with mice have shown that the activation of these receptors lowers the heart rate and blood pressure responses to stress, lowering the physical symptoms of mental stress. Human studies have also confirmed the possible anti-stress effects of CBD. Researchers investigated the anti-stress effects of CBD on uncontrolled anxiety in subjects with social anxiety disorder. 12 participants received 600 milligrams of CBD, and the other 12 received a placebo. The results showed that the group that received CBD presented decreased levels of anxiety in the anticipatory and performance phases compared to the placebo group. When looking at stress and depression, the hippocampus has also been viewed in connection with these disorders. The hippocampus is an area of the brain that plays a critical role in a range of brain functions, most known for its part in cognition and memory formation. Brain scans of patients that suffer from anxiety or depression often show a reduced hippocampus, and effective treatment of depression is linked to the creation of new neurons, or neurogenesis, in the hippocampus. Research shows that both SSRIs, which is a common drug used in the treatment of depression, and CBD can aid in neurogenesis. In one study, research investigated the possible involvement of hippocampal neurogenesis in the anti-anxiety effects of CBD in mice subjected to unpredictable stress. The mice were administered CBD, which increased hippocampal neurogenesis and prevented the stress effect of the unpredicted stress. The study points to the facilitation of endocannabinoid-mediated signaling as a significant factor in CBD exerting its anti-anxiety reduction effect. 5-HT1A also plays a large role in the development of depression and anxiety. 5-HT1A is a subtype of the serotonin receptor. This is important as anxiety and depression are often treated with drugs that target the serotonin system. These drugs work by blocking reabsorption of serotonin in the brain, which increases availability of serotonin. This helps the brain cells to transmit more serotonin signals, reducing anxiety and improving the mood. One animal study found that CBD actually enhances 5-HT1A transmission at a faster rate than SSRIs. For more information on CBD, you can visit us at greengardengold.com. Thank you for watching.